please put your hands together and welcome to the stage Vice President of Product for Microsoft Fabric and Power BI, Kim Mannis.
Hello. I'm Kim Mannis, Vice President of Product for Power BI and Microsoft Fabric. I'm super excited to be here today at the Power Platform Community Conference. So today we're going to talk all about driving a data culture in the era of AI using Power BI and Microsoft Fabric. It's been nearly 10 years since Power BI first started as the first application in the Power Platform. Since then, this community and this platform has evolved so much thanks to all of you. You've changed your businesses, you've empowered your users, you've grown your careers, and you've pushed us to make the platform even more powerful for you. And from the very beginning, Power BI has been all about driving a data culture. Every individual in their day-to-day work, every team trying to figure out what to do next, and every organization, large and small. We all know AI is transforming the world. It's transforming how we work. We've heard so much about this already from Charles and Jeff earlier today. And data is the fuel that powers AI. But data and AI, it's just too complicated. This graphic is created by Firstmark Capital, one of the venture capital firms in the Valley. And each of these icons is a choice you need to make. It's a product. It's a point of integration. It's a source of data. It's a source for AI to get trained on. And we hear over and over again from our customers, quotes just like this one. They're spending too much time managing the software and integrating the software and not getting to the work of analytics and figuring out what to do next to improve their business. That's where Microsoft Fabric comes in, the unified data platform for the era of AI. Fabric takes you from a set of isolated components to a unified data stack, from databases living in silos all disconnected from one another to all the data together in one place. To generative AI as an afterthought, to generative AI built in from the ground up. It's been less than a year since Fabric went generally available, and we've already got 14,000 paying customers using it. One example of this is the City of Oslo. They're using all sorts of data sources, including SharePoint, including Dataverse, and of course they're using Power BI. However, the district lacked a unified window into all these data, really hindering their ability to deliver assistance where needed. For example, a kindergarten manager had to log into 25 different tools just to see the data for their district. Using Microsoft Fabric, they were able to create a unified view of all their data, making it easy for their residents and employees to make better decisions and draw those connections. So let's take a look at some other customers who are using Microsoft Fabric. Let's roll the video.
We are really thrilled to be announcing Microsoft Fabric, perhaps the biggest launch from Microsoft since the launch of SQL Server.
Fabric allows us to build things faster. We'll be able to focus on driving real value out of the capabilities that are there.
We switched to Microsoft Fabric at breakneck speed, completing the transition in just 2 weeks.
Microsoft have packaged enterprise-level functionality so that it can be a low-code or no-code solution.
Our Alltech Fabric pilot project was to analyze travel spend. Our vision is to bring together in one platform data from multiple sources.
Fabric's end-to-end cloud solution has empowered us to act on high-volume, high-granularity events in real time.
The presentation of this data, it's intuitive, it's friendly. Real-time intelligence gives the ability to take an action before even the driver notices.
Because everything is integrated, we get information rights protection, as well as security and access policy.
AI will play a significant role in many areas for Alltech.
The features and functionality are out of this world.
It's a great time to be in data and AI, and we're just at the start.
So what is Microsoft Fabric? Fabric is a complete analytics platform. Everything you need to build an end-to-end solution, from data integration, data engineering, data warehousing, data science, real-time analytics, and Power BI. It's deeply integrated with simple, easy-to-use, getting-started experiences that empower everyone from data engineers to business users to work more efficiently with data. But it's more than that. It's also about our lake-centric and open architecture, enabling customers to land the data once and reuse that data throughout all of the experiences in Fabric. This is possible because of OneLake, our SaaS-based data lake enabled for the entire tenant automatically. We've adopted open standards that allow your data to remain yours, while being accessible by all the engines in Fabric and third-party products that have adopted those open standards as well. Fabric is also about the business user. Here in the Power Platform community, we know how critical it is to build solutions that the business actually uses. If a tree falls in the forest and no one's there to hear it, did it make a sound? If you do all this work to structure your data, get it into a format people can consume, and no one makes decisions based off of it, did it even matter? And of course, Fabric is AI-powered, built in from the ground up, upskilling every persona on the data team to do more with data. You know, when I talk about Fabric, I like to compare it to Office, right? Think about Office, a suite of productivity tools, Word, PowerPoint, Excel. Each of these applications is optimized for a particular task or a particular job to be done, whether it's writing an email or building a spreadsheet. And all these applications share common elements. They share a user experience, how you spell check, how you copy and paste, how you format text. But they also share an underlying foundation, how you save files, how you govern the platform, how you manage all of it. So think about Fabric as an analytic suite, right? All these applications, whether it's how you build a data warehouse, how you work with streaming data, how you work with Power BI. All of these share common elements. They share experiences on how you get data into the platform, how you manage artifacts and workspaces, how you move from development to test to production. But they also share an underlying foundation, how you store data in those open formats in OneLake, how you manage security and compliance centrally, even how you manage costs across an entire project is managed centrally. And at the core of Fabric, where it all began, is Power BI. Power BI is continuing to grow like crazy. We've got 375,000 customers in Power BI. 95% of the Fortune 500 uses Power BI. Over 6 million developers. And this chart in the slide shows our actual usage chart from day one of Power BI when we launched. And you can see the usage when we launched Microsoft Fabric in public preview, June of last year. It's only continued to accelerate. The amazing thing for Power BI customers, if you have Power BI Premium, you already have Microsoft Fabric. And if you don't have Power BI Premium, you can get started with a 60-day free trial and get your hands dirty right away. Okay, so I want to start with generative AI, what we're all talking about, right? Copilot-driven development, and talk about how it can accelerate your data journey. So now it's time to get to the really good stuff, the demos. And I'm going to warn you, we have a demo party, okay? There's a lot of demos in this 30-minute session, so we're going to cram them all in. We're going to show you how Power BI, how Fabric, how Copilot are going to make you more powerful. So to do that, I'm going to invite my friend Patrick LeBlanc on stage. Many of you know him as Guy in a Cube.
What's up, Kim?
Welcome. Okay, so Patrick, can you show us how Copilot is making it easy for Power BI report creators, Power BI data modelers, Power BI end users, making it easier to work with data?
So I'm going to follow Charles's trend, Kim. I'm going to do some Copilot first development. That's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to make my job easier. I got a request right last night while everybody was hanging out. So I had to go back to my room and do some work. So I needed to create a business review. And so let's take a look. Let's take a look. I'm going to show you how Copilot helped me with this. So you can see this is a beautiful semantic model that I created directly in the web. Okay, I created this directly in the web browser, and I got the request to create this business review, and everybody knows I'm a great report developer, but instead of doing that, I decided to chat with Copilot, and I simply asked Copilot to build out this business review for me. Just a few sentences, one actually short sentence, and what you're going to see is it rendered a beautiful report for me, Kim.
A gorgeous report in seconds.
In seconds.
Remember how long that used to take?
Yep. And so not only can it generate reports, but I need to make a change to all the items that reference source, and I just asked Copilot, change anything that reference source to loyalty status, and it just did it.
This is new. You not only created a new report page, you changed the visuals on the page.
Yeah, but I know you like maps.
I love maps.
And there's too many charts at the bottom of this page. Yep. So I'm just going to ask Copilot, hey, in the bottom left corner, switch that up to a map for me, and watch this.
Wow. Just
beautiful.
Think about how many clicks that used to take just to go change the visual, change the formatting, change the fields, like that.
Like that, Kim, like that.
Amazing. Okay, but what if we need to do something more complicated? Like, maybe we want to add some, change measures to the model. We want to do something maybe that's not on the report page.
I think you want me to write some DAX. Let me go. No. All right. Yeah. And so DAX is a really easy language to write. We all know that. It's so simple that anyone can do it. But I can't do this right here in the report view. So I'm going to switch over to the new DAX query view that's built directly into the web browser. And guess what I can do? Copilot. And so I'm going to ask Copilot, hey, Copilot, generate some DAX for me. I need to learn about some customer growth for Kim. And look at that. Look what it just did.
Just like that. You didn't have to write any code. You got DAX. By the way, fully in the web. Fully in the web.
Fully Amazing. In the web. Any device. MacBooks, Chromebooks, they all work, right? And then what I'm going to do is add that to my model. So not only am I writing DAX, I'm modifying my model directly in the web.
So you're adding that business logic back to your semantic model. So in the report we're working on, or any other report, they can take advantage of that business logic.
But now I need to use those measures. I need to use everything that I've created. So I'm using all the built-in capabilities, like the lassos feature. I'm using the new card visual, which allows me to add reference labels, and just in a few seconds, like a cooking show, a beautiful report.
It's gorgeous. Gorgeous reports. Those visuals have come a long way, right?
This is amazing. This is amazing.
Okay, but it's not just about the report, right? It's about collaboration on that report. So what are we going to do here?
Yeah. And so my team is data-driven and data-focused. But instead of having them go somewhere else to look for the reports, I just added it as a tab to my weekly meeting for our business review. And now, anyone that's part of that meeting, they can see the data, Kim.
And of course,
we can use Copilot.
We got Copilot for them too.
We're going to generate some interesting insights directly inside the teams. I don't need to go anywhere. I'm just going to ask it, hey, I need five really good insights about my report.
And so now you can just copy and paste, send that off to your boss as the status report for the day.
And then I have a great review at the end of the year.
That is amazing.
All right, Kim, I'll be back.
Patrick showed you a lot there. He showed you how report authors can work faster. He showed you how data modelers can work faster. He showed you how end users can explore the data in new ways. Awesome. So stick around, Patrick.
All right,
we got more demos.
Yep.
Okay. So as you saw, Power BI and Copilot make it easier than ever to find insights in your data. And Power BI acts as the bridge between those business users that live in Office, just like you saw in Teams earlier, and the data that lives in Fabric. And at the heart of Fabric is OneLake, also known as the OneDrive for data. Our aim is to make it as easy to share, collaborate, reuse data as it is to work with files in OneDrive. And OneLake empowers you to land that data once and reuse that single copy of data in all the experiences throughout Fabric. And if your data is already in a data lake, maybe it's in Azure, maybe it's in Google, maybe it's in Amazon's cloud, no matter what, you can shortcut that data into OneLake and work with it in the exact same way. And because we've adopted those open data formats, your data remains your data and is accessible by any of the engines within Fabric or third-party products that have adopted it as well. So maybe you're working with data flows to get data in, right? Maybe you have a data warehouse and you're writing SQL code. Maybe you're using streaming data, or you're working with the data in Power BI. It doesn't matter because all of that data lands in OneLake and is reusable by any of the other data personas that have access to it. It's kind of like telling a story, right? Do you want to tell a story using a Word document? Do you want to tell a story using a PowerPoint presentation? Do you want to write SQL code? Do you want to write Python code? Do you want to use Power BI to work with the data? No matter what, you can use that data in OneLake. Okay, so Patrick, I'm going to hand it back to you. And can you show us OneLake in action, getting all the data in from everywhere?
So Microsoft Fabric is truly a game changer when it comes to centralizing data in a single unified estate. So let's take a look, Kim. So picture Contoso Outdoors. They have data fragmented everywhere. They have data in Snowflake. They have data in, here we go. They have data in Snowflake. They have data in Databricks. They have data in Dataverse.
Of course, Dataverse. Who's got data in Dataverse?
Right? They have data in Cosmos DB. They also have like their product and catalog information stored in Amazon S3.
This sounds so familiar. Data is everywhere, everywhere.
And so in Microsoft Fabric, if you think about setting up some data repository, there's a lot of effort required. But in Microsoft Fabric, I can create a lakehouse in just a few clicks, and it's ready to use. It's ready to use just like that. And then I can create what's called a shortcut. And what I like about these shortcuts, Kim, they don't move the data. The data lives where the data lives.
Stays
I'm not making another copy. So we're continuing this one copy of the data story. And so I choose the source, I select the items that I want, and they're automatically available for me in Microsoft Fabric, Kim.
That's awesome.
And if I move ahead, you can see that I've centralized all three of those sources in a single place.
You've brought all that data together in one lakehouse.
In one lakehouse. Now, in addition to tables, we also have files and images. You can see right here I'm storing images in my one lake, but I also can store text documents that I can use.
You can bring in structured data, unstructured data, whatever data you have, you just bring it into one lake.
All that messy data. I take all that messy data and put it in one place. But let's say you're working with an operational database, or maybe you already have a warehouse, and you want to get that data synced in real time in Fabric. This is where the groundbreaking database mirroring technology really helps out. It's built similar to a change detection technology that we have, and it automatically will copy that data over in real time.
No ETL.
No, zero ETL.
Just a couple clicks, that data's in one lake.
I'm the ETL, Kim. I'm the ETL. And now you can see that we've centralized all 5 of those sources in one lakehouse. Not the best part, though. And you may be thinking, Patrick, this is amazing. This is phenomenal. But everybody writes T-SQL. I'm going to write a query that joins across every single one of those sources in my lakehouse.
So he just wrote one SQL query that crosses clouds, 5 different sources, 3 different clouds, all in one SQL query. You can see it here in the lineage view.
Right? And then in the lineage view, you can see how all of it's connected, upstream, downstream. We can create, beautiful Power BI reports on top of this using that one copy of the data, Kim.
That is amazing. And then those Power BI reports utilize the amazing direct lake mode, which gives you blazing fast performance. It gives you the performance nature of import mode with the real-time nature of direct query because it's working. Power BI's analysis services engine is working directly against one lake.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Amazing.
Amazing. Okay, stick around. I need you again. Okay. So you saw how easy it is for one lake to bring all your data together in one lake. From data in Azure, data in Dataverse, data from other clouds, wherever your data lives, you can bring it all together in one lake. But let's switch gears. So we've shown you how to bring all this data together. But how can you take advantage of all these new tools in Fabric? How can you make your business more efficient? How can you grow your career? How can you become more powerful using all these tools? So, I'm going to bring Patrick back over here, and a lot of us have been working in Power BI for a long time, Patrick as well, and one of the things that I would love to talk about is how do we make this community more powerful with all these new tools in Fabric?
Well, the great thing about Fabric is, one of my favorite things about it is, it allows you to create an end-to-end solution in one place, Kim. Let's take a look. Let me show you. And so you can see right here, I'm in Fabric, and you can see all the different workloads. I can choose the persona. I can choose if I want to be a data scientist. I can choose if I want to be, a data engineer. But I don't have to start from scratch. I can use some of the built-in task flow templates that are automatically available in Fabric. And so you can see right here, if I wanted to build out a medallion architecture, I just choose that task flow, and I can build my bronze, silver, gold layer without much effort, Kim. Amazing. And so now, if I switch over to my workspace where I start working, you can see this is a task flow that I started from, but you can customize your task flows. You can choose different things that you want to happen in this architecture.
It's like a living whiteboard where as your project evolves, so does the task flow.
Yeah, but you don't have to take a picture of it as put do not erase, because nobody can erase this one, Kim. It's permanent. And so, but as you click about, you can see the items that are associated to it. Now I want to start doing some data prep. I really want to start doing some data prep. And so think about Power Query. We've all used Power Query, and we know there's a lot of clicking and dragging and dropping. Well, I'm going to get rid of all this clicking and dragging and dropping, Kim. All that boring stuff, we're going to let Copilot. So I chat with Copilot because I needed a column that calculates call minutes. And I just chatted with Copilot, and I said, hey, Copilot, create a column that calculates call minutes based on my start and end date. And guess what Copilot did for me, Kim?
Copilot-driven development.
Copilot-driven development. Look at that. It did it for me. But the worst thing.
The worst.
Thank you. That deserves applause. And so the worst thing is DBAs who put underscores in their column names.
They love underscores.
Why? So I'm going to chat with Copilot and say, Copilot, get rid of the underscores. Please get rid of the underscores. Yes, get rid of the underscores. And just like that, Copilot got rid of those underscores for me.
The thing about data prep is the thing that takes all the time in analytics project. How much time have we spent in Power Query clicking around to make sure that the columns are all cleaned up? Just like that.
We don't have to do that anymore. We don't have to do that. We should chat with Copilot. Now, Kim, I've been on the team for a minute, and I think it's time for a promotion because it's time for me to become a data scientist.
Wow.
I'm making a step up. But for all of you that's decided to take that step, Python and Spark and R, all that stuff can be really daunting. Not with Copilot. Not with Copilot. I want to create a histogram that shows me the distribution of my call minutes. I'm going to chat with Copilot, Kim. I ain't going to waste time with this. But not only is Copilot going to generate some beautiful Python for me, I can use this Python as a starting point in my learning journey for Fabric.
That's awesome. Right? And then you can use these Python notebooks, which are just a brand new way to explore data beyond what you can do in a Power BI report. Yeah. And so you can grow your skills, you can explore the data in new ways, you can create visuals that maybe you couldn't have built in Power BI itself. Yeah. That's incredible.
It's amazing. Now, I know we need to do a little work on our call minutes because it's taking about 20 minutes for our customers, but we're working on that part, right? But, again, everybody writes SQL. Everybody writes
Data
SQL.
people love SQL.
But how many times have you sat in front of your keyboard and you wrote select star from, inner join, where, group, having, right? It's not a waste of my time. It's not, I'm not lazy, Kim. I'm just really efficient.
It's called delegation.
It's called delegation. And so I'm going to use Copilot, and I'm asking Copilot, go ahead and generate this query for me because I'm trying to figure out where my top interests lie, and Copilot will automatically generate that query. I can run that query just to prove that it's syntactically correct.
That is awesome. And the cool thing about this whole thing, you've used all of these tools. You haven't had to reload the data. You haven't had to move the data, copy the data. Nope. It's all there.
One copy. But then we put a nice bow around this because what is a project without version control or CI/CD? You can choose between DevOps or GitHub. And then right in the interface, I can commit my entire team's change or just my change. I'm going to be a little considerate, and I'm only going to commit mine this time. Okay. And now you can see right here inside of Copilot, I have the entire solution from data integration to data science to data warehousing and CI/CD.
You know, I always say, Patrick, data is a team sport. It takes a lot of people to deploy an analytics project, right? Yep. And now we can all work together in this one workspace, work on all of our artifacts together, collaborate on this task flow, collaborate using CI/CD so that we can manage those changes. We can roll from dev to test to prod, all together in one place.
Yeah, because it's a team effort.
Amazing.
I'll be back.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. So once you build out your data in Fabric, now you can use it because OneLake is connected to everywhere. It's accessible in Office 365, in the Power Platform, in Azure AI Studio, and more. But the big question, the question I always get asked, how can Copilot understand all of this data that I've pulled together and curated in OneLake? Because it's not only about the access to the data, right? That's one piece of it. But there's also all this business knowledge that sits in our heads. It sits in the heads of the business users, of the data analysts, of the subject matter experts. So in Fabric, you can use AI skills to curate that data. And you can augment it with that custom business context that only you in the business know. And then you can ground that and feed it into your custom copilots that you're building in Microsoft Copilot Studio. And so then you can bring all this together and really build those custom copilots based on your business's data. Okay, so Patrick, show us. How can we use generative AI on our organization's data?
Yeah, so Kim, everybody knows we like data. I think everybody knows now that you and I have some type of infatuation with data. But using this new skill, we can quickly empower everyone in our organization and possibly convince them that they should be infatuated data. Let's take a look.
Okay.
All right? And so you can see right here in the Fabric portal, I'm going to create a new AI skill. And it's really, really amazingly simple to get started with this, right? I give it a name. And once I give it a name, the configuration begins. But watch how simple this configuration is. Yep. I was blown away when I first saw this. You choose a lakehouse. We're continuing the theme of this one copy of data that we've made. And once you choose a lakehouse, you select the specific tables that you want the skill to have access to.
So you don't have to have your business users seeing all the data, just the one that's relevant for them, for this scenario.
That's right. And then from there, I could start. I could start the configuration. I can start asking questions of the data. Like, for example, I want to know what's the top selling product, and it generates the query for me, and I can kind of see, this is not exactly what I wanted, because this is based on quantity. I want this based on sales amount. So I can give AI skill a note and say, hey, don't use quantity, use spend.
That's exactly it. It was technically right, but it wasn't working according to our business context.
That's right. That's right.
Awesome.
And now it answers the question properly. But now, I think one of the most important things, it's our customers and how much money our customers are spending. Because if they're not spending money, we're not in business anymore, Kim. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to ask Copilot, hey, I'm going to ask the skill, hey, what's my average sale for each one of my customers? But it doesn't give me quite what I'm looking for. I would like to see the customer, their average spend. The customer, their average spend. So what I can do is I can give the skill just a little more information so it answers that question properly.
This is the question I always get. What happens when Copilot gets it wrong? How can I fix it?
So I give it a question and a query pair, and that fixes it. So now when I go ask this question, watch what happens, Kim. It's going to give me the customer and their average spend. But I'm going to be a little tricky here. I'm going to switch it up a little bit. Instead of asking customer, I'm just going to switch it to customer geography and see if it gives me the right answer for that question.
So now it's learning based on that context you gave it. Amazing.
Right? It's growing up. It's growing up, right? And so finally, I could use this in other tools like Copilot Studio. And I'm continuing the exact same trend, Kim. I'm using that one copy of data that the AI skill is using, and I'm going to integrate this. I'm going to go out, select Fabric. I'm going to choose the skill that I want, and that's it. And then I'm going to start asking questions of the skill, and we'll see that it gives us the exact answers that we're expecting.
So now you can take that business data that you've curated in one link, you've augmented with your own context. Now you're adding that knowledge to your custom Copilots in Copilot Studio, and then you can add all the cool actions and automations and skills that we've seen today, all of it tied up in a nice little bow.
Before I leave, I have to say this. We all know Microsoft runs on trust, and so whenever someone interacts with this skill, it runs under the context of that person. So if they only have access to whatever limited data they have access to, that's the data they see.
So like if you only have access to certain countries' data or something, it only shows the results for that country.
That's right, Kim.
That is awesome.
It's what I like to call insane amazing.
Insane amazing.
All right, Kim.
Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you, Kim.
Having trouble get to the next slide. There we go. So that was a whirlwind tour of Microsoft Fabric. We showed you a ton of stuff. And the question I always get asked, how do I even begin? Where do I even start? The best place to do this is at the Fabric Career Hub. The Fabric Career Hub gives you all the resources you need to learn the product, connect with the community, get certified, access career guidance, and more. And if that wasn't enough, we will be back here in Vegas, March 31st, for the second annual Fabric Community Conference. I cannot wait to see you all there. I can't wait to see what you build with all of these amazing capabilities we've seen today, and I can't wait to meet you throughout the conference. Have a great conference, everyone.